Leona, despite those the presence of those two champions being much higher.
That that surprises me, not because I disagree with your Alistar slash Tom Kench takes. I think Tom Kench is really slept on. I think just because he's so, I don't even know if boring is the right word, but he's certainly pegged as such. But I agree. I think these two supports are fantastic, and what you've got in with Pain's comp a little less so, but with Furia you have a little more primary engage, right? You've got a ball delivery system with Ranger and FNB. This comp wants to go forward. There's so much CC. You can leave someone back to peel, but you know what Furia wants to do, and I think the meta has shifted in a way that is really going to suit Ranger and how this team wants to play, because he is such a fan of and really thrives on. It's a comfortable setting, these early game junglers, for him.
Oh yeah, no, I fully agree with you there. This is their comfort zone, right? This is where they want to be. But a couple things about this comp as well. This is a really nice Orianna pick, counter pick into Twisted Fate. What you're saying is, say Twisted Fate's going to leave the lane, but I have enough wave push to push the wave so hard as Orianna that not only am I going to eat up all these minions, I'm going to get turret plates off your turret, and that means that those late game, mid game shockwaves are going to hurt really bad, right? So for Pain, you have to make as much use out of this Twisted Fate as possible, or you're just going to get dunked on these late game team fights by this Orianna. It kind of puts you on the clock a little bit, right? And makes those roams from the Twisted Fate a little bit more contested. You have to think twice about going for them.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, because both these mid laners have teleport, yes, and with the unsealed spellbook, Dinketo give himself a little bit more flexibility on that front. But you nailed it. These roams from Twisted Fate and how he uses his ultimate, yeah, because he basically has 2 TPs. But either way, whenever he leaves lane, you nailed it. He's gonna have to make every second count, because Envy is going to try to punish him at every step. Now, I think a lot of that also comes down to, okay, you got to be a little creative with warding. You've got to really track that ultimate from Dinketo. It's not just tracking the teleport timers, but we'll see how Redbird and Ranger help the rest of his squad out, because if FNB, I think that's going to be a point of contention, right? Renekton, infamously dominant in until about level 11, right? And then starts to fall off a cliff. So I think that, that top lane, that's where I'm looking if I'm Ranger, and that's where I'm keeping my head on a swivel if I'm FNB.
100%. Yeah, you want to make sure that you're not getting taken down early by this roam comp. That feels super bad. I talking about the junglers as well, both fairly early game junglers. So if you're a laner in this game, you have to be looking out for the ganks. Ranger going for the invade, man. That's pretty courageous play right there. You don't have priority from Orianna, not pre-level 6 whatsoever. So you're definitely playing with fire going for this one. But is going to settle for the Scuttle Crab as Envy walks over to give him a little bit of pressure. Down bot side, you can see Trigo and Damage are laying down the damage, pushed Netuno and Redbird all the way back up under turret. Jinx has a little bit better early game than the Aphelios, so this makes a lot of sense, but, not too much data on the Tom Kench versus Alistar matchup. 2 tank supports, both very difficult to pick. Certainly Alistar more difficult to pick post level 6 than pre level 6, but, here we go. Top side.
Yeah, and
we'll dive here.
Dinketo getting that push out early, and Weiser just saying, all right, FNB, I'm going to take you down with me. The flash in, beats him over the head with a bear claw. First blood of this series going over to FNB. Compliments of Ranger.
That's great stuff, right? I mean, you got the pre-6 Volibear there, so doesn't have ultimate to turn off the turret, but he has a ton of shielding, right? He gets the ball from Envy to shield him up, gets the shield from his lightning as well, and that is going to more than protect him from those turret shots. I think he took, he mitigated 2 turret shots there with just the shield, which is pretty wild, right? I mean, if you're Wiser, that feels really bad. I don't know. I think you have to have a little bit better tracking there through that river, and it's interesting to see Karaoke not getting any kind of pressure off of this early game with the Xin Zhao, right? You'd think he'd be a little bit stronger in this early game.
Yeah, he's up. A little bit of CS here, but now Wiser, he's able to come back with a tier and 2 longswords. And FNB saying, you know what, I'm going to take that kill and invest it into stability. I'm going to be a rock in this lane. These auto attacks are going to hurt that little bit less, empowered or not. Yeah, but that shock blast actually still hits kind of hard, all things
Yeah.
considered. That's a little more than I was expecting it to do.
Oh
FNB,
my.
man, okay, getting traded back a little more than I thought here. Weiser taking no prisoners, playing this Jace really, really well. This is another thing that I think you can, not entirely, but a part of Pain's resurgence, I think, has been Weiser, in my opinion, has what you like to call, if you follow the LEC, Alfari syndrome, right? Where he's, it could be a very dominant laner, but especially in an isolated position like top lane, transitioning that into the mid and late game can be a bear. And that's not something that is in Keto getting really, really low here. A couple more autos might do it for Envy. The ball goes out. So low. Bolo. Envy makes it 2 kills now for Furia in the early game.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen, right? I mean, you're level 6, big spike there for the Orianna. Shockwave comes down to Twisted Fate, and oh, here we go. Ranger caught out.
Yeah, Karaoke, there's the involvement we wanted in that early game. Now, Weiser is level 6, not as big of a spike for him as FNB's not going to hit it mid-fight here. Conqueror procced. FNB and Ranger just going to get the heck out of dodge. There's that activity. Ooh, now Dinketo looking for blood, immediately going up to the top lane, but won't get anything out of it. But, well, I say that now. We've got a big old cannon wave crashing into this tower. Ranger saying, or FNB rather saying, deuces, friend, it's been fun. Weiser gets a kill back.
I think he kind of soloed him there a little bit. I don't know if the other two even hit him, maybe just to get the assist. But, yeah, that was a lot of damage coming out of Weiser, even on the FNB, who has those armor boots. That's that does not bode well for the future here for why if you're a Furia fan, and I know several of us are, so it's kind of rough, right? Oh, Duncan, what is this pathing, man?
Yeah, that was... I've done that 10,000 times. And I get yelled at every single time by my friends. And I yell at myself, too. Stupid 4x4. Stupid. Yeah, that was very bold. He's got these corrupting pots. Going to get a little bit back here. But a couple of tiers picked up as well by Weiser and Envy. Right, he got a really nice off that assist and off 30 CS-ish worth of farm from the assist coming from the top lane, rather, and was able to come back with a tier. And now he's got a couple of rings and a couple of books as well. He's blinged out and literate. Ladies, come on. What more do we want from a man? But otherwise...
that's about it.
Yeah, it could be far, far worse. More boots coming in here now. The Merc Treads and the Berserker's Greaves coming in initially for damage and Trigo, specifically, on a pickaxe and some CDR boots for Redbird. Yeah. Do you make anything of these CDR boots for the Alistar, or is it not even worth diving into?
Not really for me so much. You're not super contingent on something like Moby boots to get within range. You have a pretty significant range advantage over the enemy support as far as engage goes. If this is like a Leona Nautilus matchup, getting a little bit closer, and just that the split second that Moby boots gives you is more valuable. But here, where you're not really worried about the enemy support, like throwing a hook back in your face, it's not as impactful, right? Normally, you can get within range of Tahm Kench to be able to get on top of him if you're Alistar. So you should be just fine. Meanwhile, if you're Tahm Kench, the boots over there, that decision is, this is just the tankiest support in the game. I'm going to go ahead and say, I think Tahm Kench, of any support, has the least deaths, which is kind of crazy because he's a tank support, right? You see tank supports like Nautilus go like 4 or 5 deaths in a game. Yep. So it's kind of... seeing this champion just never get picked, never dying, even in the late game, is wild. And you're trying to expand on that with your build there for Tahm Kench. So that's why he's building those. Rift Herald picked up by Pain up top side. 4 rotating up to get that. Furry's going to trade this dragon over, looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not quite as immediate. You thought maybe there was a chance to contest, but on the reset that Pain ended up taking, Furia said, all right, thank you very much. We're going to take that right back. This game, dead even. Axe, the gold is separated by only 200. No towers or any of that. But that first Herald, immensely valuable. Now Ranger taking maybe a little bit of a similar page out of Dinketo's book, but to much less cost incurred. Weiser's build coming together here. Pickaxe has come in now for FNB, and Envy well on his way to that Everfrost. Natuno taking a little bit of damage here. Damage, speaking of him, he's going to take a super mega death rocket to the faces. Natuno, damage, he is really tanky, like you said, Axe. And Natuno, or rather Dinketo, going to come and finish off Natuno. Those tower shots hitting like trucks, but it was juggled pretty dang well, all things considered.
Oh, yeah, great. roam there from Dunkado, very well done, and a fantastic engage from damage there too. The follow-up from Trigo. So much damage already coming out of this Jinx with just that pickaxe. He's going to have the longswords coming back into it. Ranger on the angle. Might have Wiser. I don't think they saw him. They did see that they did see him on the controller back there by Krugs, so I think that's why Wiser just suddenly backing off, taking his time. Meanwhile, Ranger on the invade wants this kill. He's got ult up.
Yeah, I don't think he's not gonna take he's not gonna get spotted by the scuttle crab. He's gonna take 2 tower shots. FNB's gonna back off, and the Dominus helping him out as well. Ranger and FNB doing what they gotta do in this early game. Axe is what we wanted to see.
Yeah, that's it feels pretty bad for Wiser, right? Karaoke here trying to get a little bit of cleanup going, and that feels pretty good if you're a jungler, by the way. Oh, fight mid lane.
Ooh, yeah, now 2 supports roaming up into the mid lane. Getting the pancada going, a little bit of slapping back and forth, but nothing really doing. Not one of these mid laners really hitting like they should yet. Not that you need that out of your Twisted Fate, but the trading isn't going to be quite as explosive just yet.
Yeah, not quite, right? And you kind of see a bit of the tankiness there for damage, just kind of walking up into the 2 enemy champions, and they're like, yeah, we can't do anything there. Oh, no, Karaoke.
Karaoke just gonna take someone down with him, but it will not be for anything. Ranger already on a mythic level 7, 60 CS, and he went into that fight with a turbo chem tank. Popped that John immediately, ulted over the wall, and punished a little bit of an attempt at some deep vision. Got a little bit of it, but Karaoke's gonna die for it.
Yeah, I've been so critical over the last couple of weeks of the Volibear Nautilus. Just kind of like frontline synergy, I guess we'll say with the quotes, and it does me a lot of good to see the Volibear Alistar have so much success, because I hate the Nautilus with it. I think it's just so awful. Topside trading pretty heavy there. Wiser starting to lose these trades as FNB continues to rack up the armor. You'd like to see it, right? He's also getting a lot more offensive options with that Iron Spike whip there, so he's able to trade back more of the damage. Just the issue for him is that Wiser is about to complete this mythic item, and that is not going to be good for the Crocodile. For what I heard Renekton described as an alligator with a big knife and a bunch of bees the other day, and it confused me for a while, because I was like, I get that. I get he's an alligator with a knife. I understand that. But the bees? What's the bees? And someone was saying his ult looks like bees flying around him.
Oh.
What a strange way to describe that ability. But
yeah,
so he's knife croc with a bunch of bees. So
yeah, knife croc with bees. It's like that. Oh gosh, it's like the duck with a knife, right?
Yeah,
it's like you know, like the angry little duck with a knife, except just an angry little crocodile. I guess the bees. I see that more with Nasus's ultimate. Right,
yeah.
He's kind of got more of those vibes. And even like I think it's the Wither, right, that puts like those little those gnats on you.
Yeah,
it's very visceral.
The effect. Yeah. No, I both those champions look so cool. I wish Nasus was in the meta more often. Rift Herald dropped down bot side into that bot turret there. Bunch of gold back over to Trigo's pocket, which sounds like a shooting terror through me, having watched CBLOL these last few weeks. When Jinx gets a bunch of gold out of nowhere, it's kind of like, oh well, this game just got like 30% harder for Furia to win. You know, look at it statistically. That's champion is just nuts.
Yeah, the only saving grace right now is that Natuno is on a mythic item, and the difference between the boots and no boots, rather than boots and components versus that mythic item spike.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that's, the saving grace for Natuno right now, because like you said, Trigo's sitting on a lot of damage. Eventually, Natuno's going to have to index into those boots, unless we hit into the 50-minute mark and he starts selling boots, right? But, this is quite a big power point for Trigo and the rest of Pain in, again, what's been a pretty even game. Ninkedo going to flash over the wall. Super Mega Death Rocket almost caught out Envy. We saw how much damage that did when he had just a pickaxe, right? Axe earlier. And it was a really good attempt. Good awareness there by Trigo up on the top side.
It is a good rocket, right? And I think it's easy to forget that rocket was shot like 4 seconds before the impact. Right. So yeah, lining up shots like that is super difficult, and good on him to even hit a target there. But once again, Ranger, just the king of turrets on this Volibear, playing this champion so effectively, where so often we see it get misused, right? You know, maybe not ganking enough, maybe not shutting off the turrets the correct time. Ranger is playing the absolute heck out of this champion right now, which is really nice to see. A lot of players doing very well on their champion. So far, Dunkato, I wanted to point out, lots of very successful roams, which has been nice to see. I think a couple times he roamed up topside and didn't actually get a takedown, get an assist, which is unfortunate, but even providing that pressure is valuable, I would think. But Envy as well, a lot of fantastic shockwaves there. So really like to see this level of play in CBLOL. It's exciting stuff.
Yeah, even though it has only been 6 kills in 15 minutes, it has been an action-packed game. Teams have been trading blows back and forth. So much damage at CC onto Envy. The guy can't do anything, but he's going to walk away with Ignite taking on him. Flashes away, playing with a little bit of fire here. He's going to sidestep the Super Mega Death Rocket. Man, Trigo's so close with those. And at the end of the day, it is the initiator of the fight, Keto, that gets popped by the Crocodile again.
Yeah, really. And I was just talking up his roams, right? And he has one of his first bad ones. I'm going to chalk that one up to that crown item in Envy's inventory. When was the last time we saw this item, right? Since the mage item changed? Oh, no. Oh, F&B maybe caught out here.
F&B has shot pulled up. Trigo. Gonna get one more rocket on him, and that's it.
Yeah, just going to cancel the back, deal a little damage, force him off. That does waste his time, so it will be impactful. But, yeah, back to my point. It's an interesting item. We haven't seen it as much as Assassins Have Fallen by the Wayside. That blocking that initial damage isn't super important. But, I mean, you're into Jace. That big, long Q damage, if that even blocks a little bit of that damage, this item is worth it. And, of course, that last play, you can see the item they're getting out of the value they're getting out of that item. Certainly it definitely saved their life on that last play. Rift Herald, second one dropped here in the mid lane,
and Ranger just gonna go right in. He's gonna sidestep the Everfrost. FNB looking for a cheeky angle. Dinketo's got the gold card pulled up. Good shockwave by Envy, but the follow-up isn't quite there. But the damage is Redbird forward with the headbutt almost able to CC Karaoke long enough for a kill to be picked up, but still 5-2 on the kills front where we started for Furia. The second Herald almost knocking down that mid-tier 1 and equalizing on that front.
For what I think Redbird with the headbird is my favorite call of this whole split. That was awesome.
And it wasn't even on purpose.
Yeah, that's great, man. We gotta say that more often. That's so funny. But yeah, nice engage there. Kind of a staggered engage, right? The primary from Ranger coming out with the ultimate, and he's just tanky enough to do that right now, right? Not a lot of Volibears can say that at 17 minutes that they're just ulting into the enemy team. But Ranger certainly can't. Karaoke in on an Envy.
He's 2 levels down. Envy going to take a Super Mega Death Rocket to the face. And there's the shutdown for Wiser. That is a big swing of gold towards him, Axe. He's got enough to probably get really close to that Muramana anyway. And this is where we're going to start to see the tables turn. Ranger going right back in onto Trigo. Damage. Can he bail out his AD carry? Trying to kite Trigo. Oh, Natuno with the Calibrum. Able to take down his enemy AD carry. And Natuno in his first stage game ever. Picking up his first kill.
I can't believe it was the Calibrum that got him that kill, right?
Yeah, right.
Often you get to say that, right? But I'm sure Trito's like, why did he have Calibrum up of all things? Come on.
Yeah, Natuno on the opposite side, he's like, oh, sweet, green gun.
Hey, I had it up. Woo-hoo.
Right click.
Yeah, that's awesome for him. But I didn't think he was gonna get that kill, but he did get it down. Trigo, definitely paying gaming at this point, but he's not super far behind, I will go ahead and say. Netsuno with the armor boots, by the way. I like that you make that point earlier about how Trigo had a big gold advantage, but he only just had the boots over Netsuno. I like that point you're making because Netsuno, on Aphelios, what you want is the other team to run into you, right? So you having boots or not only really matters if you're losing a fight and trying to escape. And I would say, and most analysts would say, if you're trying to escape and you're Aphelios, you've already lost. So you don't need those boots at that point. So even just getting the armor boots, it's kind of like I'm trying to survive a couple extra shots from this Jinx, not trying to run away, not trying to hard engage, and that's a good look from Netsuno. I don't think a lot of AD carries are building this item on this champion, but it makes sense to me.
Yeah, no, and it's like you said. I mean, the escape tools for an Aphelios, like you said, it's not going to come down to your boots. It never does. You've got Flash Cleanse, Gale Force, right? You've got 3 oops buttons, and your boots are not one of them. And to further your point, right? I mean, Dinketo, yeah, he's your magic damage champion, but he's Twist of Fate, right? He's not going to be the reason you lose a fight outside of taking a gold card, and that will not be impacted by your boots. The damage it's going to pop you 100-0 is all physical. So I agree. The more you kind of expounded on that, the more I found myself agreeing with you. With these armor boots picked up here. Everyone on pretty similar item spikes as this dragon fight going to break out. Furia very quietly up 2-0, make it 3-0. Ranger securing the first step to an Ocean Soul. Wiser looking for a flank. Those shock blasts are hitting hard. FNB pops the dominance. Karaoke in. Gravitum going to land, rather not the Graviton, I think, but either way, Karaoke going to pick up the killer onto Redbird, and now Champions retreated right back. FNB doesn't have dominance anymore. He's going to have to run away on his own 2 feet. Crocodiles have 4, but he is going to survive just barely. Envy and Natuna with a combined 100 HP. Envy doesn't have flash. He's going to try to take Trigo down with him, just try to kite long enough for something to come off cooldown, but it's not going to happen. Wiser picking up a kill, and it's Pain that come out on top of that fight, but they are in a 3-0 dragon deficit.
Pain snatching victory from the jaws of defeat there. They were behind. They lost the dragon and are now down 3 dragons to 0, just like you said, 4Y, but they snatched that fight away from Furia with a couple choice picks, getting Redbird off at the top of the fight, eventually running down Envy. They had played it so well. Furia were doing so well, right? Now they're onto the Baron here, 4Y. I don't know. This is a 21-minute Baron.
Yeah, this is gutsy, but they are going to take it. I'll give them credit. It was decisive, and I think just barely enough damage, right? I mean, like, Wiser had that Muramana. I think that might have been the break point, but let's look at this fight again. Again, Furia secure the dragon, but from then on, it was all Pain.
It was all Pain, right? Primary engage from Redbird does immediately have to back off. He's just pushing him away from the dragon. Ultimate to escape from Ranger. This is critical. This is the communication call. Hey, we're leaving. Look where Ranger is. He's all the way in the back. This is their front line. FNB goes off half-cocked. I'll go ahead and say it. That was not a good engage. Envy and Netsuno try to stick around to help him out, and it's a doomed fight from that point on. As soon as Ranger ults out of this fight 4Y, it should have been the call to leave.
Yeah, exactly. If you use that going backwards, right, especially with Redbird having, he's got the CDR boots, yes, but he's not going to get another headbutt pulverize combo off, really. And I think it sort of reminds me of what you were saying about your boots aren't going to be the reason you escape as an 80 carry, right? It's flash cleanse. If you find yourself using anything, like if you find yourself right-clicking as Renekton to close gaps, you screwed up somewhere. Now Trigo gonna get immediately jumped on, damage, gonna swallow up his 80 carry, spin him back out, and Karaoke was looking for some sort of flank, but the fight is too scattered. His ult's gonna buy him a little bit of time, but Wiser gonna pick up 2 kills here, make it 3. This is the Wiser that everyone wanted to see. Pain Gaming grabbing the game by the throat.
Yeah, I made this point a couple times already, but the absolute just frame perfect value you get from this Tahm Kench pick is just totally changing the course of this game, right? Not only could they get the pick down, could they not get the pick down to damage, right? With all the damage trying to run him down, they couldn't pick Trigo either, despite having him totally locked up. Tons of damage coming at the Jinx because damage just swallowed him and then walked away a couple of feet and spat him back out. Nautilus not only would have died, but Trigo would have died too, right? So this Tahm Kench pick, so valuable here. And Furia, honestly, I think this fight was over as soon as they threw like 3 or 4 ults out and missed half of them, right? I mean, not Moonfall. Natsuno's ultimate did go wide, didn't connect with anybody. Pretty sure we had a Shockwave miss a couple of members there as well. Just back off after that point. You're not the team that's supposed to be running into the other team. You have to get them to run into you.
Yeah, no, like you said, it felt a little bit desperate, right? With that last fight in the top side blue or bot side red jungle not going their way. Everyone had their ults back up, and the ults are so critical for this composition of Furia. Everyone had it back up, and they just threw it all at Trigo, and it's made doubly bad by, like you said, the fact that it wasn't even him that got away. Damage just kind of rolled up, took a couple of hits, grabbed Trigo, said, I got you, homie. Don't worry about it. And then Furia's sitting there with, they're caught with their pants down. They go, uh-oh. We're in trouble here. They were able to get Karaoke, but the fight was turned really well.
100%. Yeah, turned incredibly well. Also, I think Furia are suffering from the mindset of the get Jinx mindset that has dominated season 12 spring so far, which is, correct 90% of the time, right? You get the Jinx, you win the fight. Ranger, the primary engage here.
Damage. A lot of gray health. Dinketo showing up at the right time. Everfrost and Q as well. FNB exhausted
Okay.
and can't catch up to Dinketo. That
All
is
right.
big. He's kiting really well, making most use of that rapid fire cannon. Now Trigo's excited. They weren't able to get the Jinx Axe, man. Now the 8th kill of the game. Make it the 9th for Weiser. He's running over this game. KR Jace taking over CBLOL. Give him the quadra. No, fine. Dinketo going to be the one to pick up that 4th kill. And Natuno, all he could do is watch as his team goes down in flames.
Oh, he doesn't have the Q cooldown up. I thought Weiser was going to finish him off, but they will get this inhib. I think they can end too. Pain are pushing the tempo so hard right now. You can see the kind of they're not really sure if they can end. They're going to go for a second inhib here, and I think it is kind of like that pro illness where you're like, can we end? I don't know if we can end. We should probably try and not be super greedy. I think they maybe could have there, but they are suffering from a lack of resources. They will take the reset here and get their first dragon of the game. Something I do want to point out here for why Trigo is in the twilight zone right now, right? I mean, you're one of the better AD carries in CBLOL right now. You're a 2.5 item Jinx, 235 CS, playing a fantastic Jinx game. Guy doesn't have any kills.
Yeah, brutal.
Right? And you're like, oh, well, our Korean top laner's killing everybody, so I guess it's fine, but I'm playing well too. Here's the replay. Karaoke gets picked out here. This was a 5v4 for Furia at one point in this game, and it's right here, right? Everybody's healthy. Everything looks so good. What happened for why? Weiser happened. Just deletes the front line. Envy's up next. Gets taken down there. It is FMB that eventually goes down to Dinketo, looking to save his carry. They do save the carry, but only just.
Yeah. Man, no, it was that like you said, that break point where Karaoke just a sacrificial lamb in that fight, buying enough time, that ultimate as well, and just allowed Weiser and Trigo. I think Trigo, you're right, no kills, but he is raining damage.
Yep.
And look at that shock blast. What? Stop it. Stop it, Weiser.
Oh,
He's got 3.5 items, a ton of lethality, percent pen as well. He's going to tear through anyone that tries to step his way. Ranger's the only guy that can survive anything like that. And like you said, that Crown of the Shattered Queen right now is not looking too bad, right? You're going to take one of those shock blasts to the face, and you're like, actually, I might survive here. Dinketo, gets the gold card over the wall, and damage going to not lick anyone. But, get a flash out of the way of Ranger. Another pick for Pain.
Yeah, another pick there goes down. 10 kills for Weiser at this rate. Just solo boloing Furia right now. I don't think there needs to be other Pain members on the map, but maybe just to get him more Barons, right? That's what they will do now. 27 minutes, second Baron. You'll recall that first one went down at 21 minutes.
And now they're going to abandon it. It was just Trigo and Karaoke. One for the damage, one for the smite. Moonlight Vigil out. Only going to connect with Weiser. Damage flashing forward. They're on a Ranger trying to get a slow onto him. Redbird just trying to hold off the advance. Gets 2 with the headbutt. Karaoke in. And Ranger going to go down. Now Trigo picking up his first kill of the game. A well-deserved one at that. Dinketo picking up a kill as well. It was a well-kited fight. Well played. They pounced and turned on Furia. Natuno, rather, excuse me. Laying down good damage. Cleanses out of the gold card from Dinketo. Going to lay down a couple more autos. Getting good damage down, but the numbers are just too much. They overwhelm Natuno. And despite a good early game from Super Furia, it's Pain Gaming, the hottest team in CBLOL right now, up 1-0 in this best of 5 in the upper bracket.
Hard to ignore that Korean Jace up top side there. Man, oh man, for why was that ever a performance? Solo carried his